Rejoice ye pure in heart. When you sing. Yes, on through life's long path, still chanting as we go, from youth to age, by night and day, in gladness and in woe. Rejoice, 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 give thanks and sing. Praise Him who reigns on high, the Lord whom we adore. The Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, one God forevermore. Rejoice, 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 give thanks and sing. Aren't you glad you can come to church and rejoice and praise Jesus for what He's done? Okay, let's turn to hymn 92. This is my Father's world. Is it time, John? Keep going? Okay. This is my Father's world, and to my nursery ways, all nature sings, and while He rings, my Father's praise. This is my Father's world, I rest beyond that vault of rocks and trees and skies and seas. He's in the wondrous light. This is my Father's world. Oh, let me never forget that though the world seems all so stark, God is the ruler yet. This is my Father's world. Why should my heart be sad? The Lord is King, let the heavens ring. God reigns, let the earth be glad. This is my Father's world. Oh, let me never forget that though the wrong seems all so stark, God is the ruler yet. This is my Father's world. Why should my heart be sad? The Lord is King, let the heavens ring. God reigns, let the earth be glad.
Good morning. Wow, wish we had more people here. It's just too early, I guess, for people to get here at 10 o'clock. So glad to have everyone here this morning on this 13th Sabbath. We're going to have a little bit of a different program for you today. The primary group and the Cradle Roll group are going to do a presentation here for you, and we're going to start out with Magda, who's going to tell us a little bit more about it.
Happy Sabbath.
Happy Sabbath.
Oh, well, my people's not here, so you can say in English. Julie, can you call the other ones? Call to your dad. Because if I speak Spanish, because I understand from here.
Do you want me to do a little thing first?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay. We're going to change it up a little bit. And I have to adjust. Because it'll take a couple minutes for them to get here, right? Okay. I'm going to tell you a little bit about something that I heard. A friend of mine sent this. My son-in-law, in fact, sent this to me. It's a summary of a video that I watched on Facebook, and it was done by a man named Josh Howerton. Have you ever heard of that guy? He's a Sunday keeper, apparently. I don't know if he's a pastor or not. And this man said that in the New Testament, working on the Sabbath will not get a death sentence for you, but if you don't keep the Sabbath, you're slowly killing yourself, okay? And in this video, this man talks about a small sect, S-E-C-T. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but the sect that he was talking about were Seventh-day Adventists, okay? And this is what he said. The first major study of Adventism began in 1960 and is known today as the Adventist Mortality Study. And it included a 5-year-long study along with a 25-year follow-up. And this was apparently just done in America. And these people, the Seventh-day Adventists, he said, who are very religious, is the word he used, religious about keeping the Sabbath day, he said that they were found to live an average of 6.2 years longer than the general population, okay? And the lifespan of an average person in America is now 77 years. Now let's multiply 365 days by 77 years. And that gives us 28,105 days per lifetime on the average, okay? Now, this is a little bit of a kind of a math issue here, okay? And I'm not sure I agreed with all of it, but it's kind of interesting. Now, let's see how many Sabbaths that is for the 28,000 days that the average American lives. Turns out if we divide that by 7, it is 4,015 Sabbaths, okay? So, Seventh-day Adventists take off work 4,015 Sabbath days during their lifetime, on average, all right? According to that 77 years, all right? So how many days does the average person in America who is not Seventh-day Adventists actually take off work? Well, the research showed that they take off work for a full day. They don't do any work at all on a full day once every 2 weeks, okay? So God tells us to take off once a week on the Sabbath day, but the average person in America only takes off 1 day every 2 weeks. And so the Adventists celebrate the Sabbath day once a week, 4,015 times per lifetime. That's twice as many days as the non-Adventist takes off, okay? So we're going to find out how many days the non-Adventist takes off. It's 4,015 divided by 2, 2007. 0.5, but we're going to forget about the 0.5. In other words, Seventh-day Adventists take 4,015 days off in their life on the average to keep the Sabbath day holy. Non-Adventist, half of that time, 2007. We can't really call these Sabbath days for the non-Adventists because they may be Christians, they may not be Christians, they may take off on Sunday, they may not. Now remember I said how many years extra does the Adventist typically live? 6.2 years longer, okay? So the Adventist lives to about an average of 83.2 years in the United States. Let's see now, where am I going? This is the point that I'm trying to make here. So the Adventist keeps 2,000, let me see here. So the Seventh-day Adventist keeps the Sabbath day 2,007 days longer than the non-Seventh-day Adventist. Plus, the Seventh-day Adventist has another 6.2 years of Sabbaths that he keeps. Now, if we kind of calculate that out with the extra 322 Sabbaths for that extra 6.2 years, it comes to 2,330 Sabbath days. Now, if we divide that by 365 days, we get 6.4 years of extra time. So in other words, the 6.4 years extra time that the Adventist lives is exactly what the Adventist mortality study found. They were off by 0.1%. And this guy's conclusion, Josh's conclusion, who's a Sunday keeper, he said, that's like God giving us an extra day in our life for every Sabbath that we keep. Okay? So for all of those, what this man says or refers to as extra Sabbaths, that's 6.2 years, and the 2005 years, that is, God is giving us this little sect, the Adventist Church, an extra day of life for every Sabbath that we keep. That's what he meant when he said, you may not be sentenced to hell for not keeping the Sabbath, but you're slowly killing yourself. This guy, Josh, who's a Sunday keeper, correctly states that the Sabbath is then, he says, woven into our creation at the beginning of the world, and it is internalized into our DNA to our own benefit, and most of us don't even know it. I think as Adventists, we kind of knew that, didn't we? It's like God asking us to trust him with our lives and our time so that he can give us more time. Okay? In other words, if we give him his time on the Sabbath, he's going to give us more of our time. Isn't that a blessing? God is a mathematician. Isn't he? Okay. We're ready? Sorry.
Now we can start. Feliz sábado.
You need to start that.
Am I nervous? I turn it off.
So,
Hoy es un día muy especial. Hoy celebramos el 13º sábado y vamos a tener una programación dedicada para honra y gloria de Dios.
happy Sabbath. Today is a very special day as we celebrate the 13th Sabbath with a program dedicated to the honor and glory of our God.
Es un privilegio para mí, como maestra de la clase de kinder, compartir este llamado de Dios en el departamento junto con Rebeca Cadenas y Joely Fuentes.
It is a privilege for me to serve as the kindergarten class teacher. I share this calling in this department with Rebecca Cadena and Joely Fuentes.
Juntas atendemos con amor a nuestros pequeños, desde bebés hasta los 6 años.
Together we lovingly care for our little ones from babies up to 6 years of age.
En esta ocasión, nuestros niños presentarán un canto y compartirán los versículos que han aprendido durante este trimestre, el cual hoy llegará a su final.
On this special occasion, our children will present a song and share the memory verses that they have learned throughout this quarter, which comes to an end today on the 13th Sabbath.
También entregaremos la ofrenda misionera, contribuyendo así el avance de la obra de Dios en el mundo.
They will also present their mission offerings, contributing to the advancement of God's work around the world, which they have been saving up for quite a while.
Quiero agradecer de todo corazón a cada uno de nuestros padres por su apoyo, su dedicación y su compromiso. Gracias a ustedes, este hermoso programa es posible.
I would like to sincerely thank each parent for their support, dedication, and commitment. Because of you, this beautiful program is possible.
Que Dios les bendiga.
May God bless you.